What's good, everyone? It's Oscar here. Welcome back to Geoguessr Explained. This is my third time filming. This hasn't been going well. First time was without audio, then I played the wrong seeds. But anyway, here we are, and let's get straight into the play-alongs. So this is playing along for today's seeds. You can join with those in the description, and then also for tomorrow's video, you can play along those seeds in the description as well. Everything will be linked. First round of the day here brings us to a very green round here. We have like a house with a chimney, probably indicating kind of a colder climate. This is my second time playing the seed, by the way, so I will be guessing again, but I've already seen these rounds before. We're driving left-hand side of the road here, all white road lines. We have these bollards with a red on the left-hand side of the road that doesn't wrap around. That should be an Australian bollard. Similar ones in Netherlands, similar ones in Turkey, similar ones in Romania occasionally. Anyway, this is looking also like Australia, as I said. We are driving left. We have the white Google car here, which is interesting. Kind of shaggy bark on the tree is definitely a clue for this state, but the big thing that gives away the state here for my money is the fact that we have like a bit of an olive green possum guard here. Now, I'm kind of using context clues to determine that this is indeed an olive green possum guard, but yeah, you see these possum guards, one here again. You can definitely see if you have like this in high definition that this is kind of like an olive greenish color to the guard there. Also, very thin crossbar is very Tasmanian as well. They use like the thinnest crossbar of any state. So, yeah, we should be in Tasmania here. Now, it is also quite hilly. You'll almost never see a flat Tasmania around. Now, most of the Generation 4 coverage is around Hobart, so I guessed around Hobart here, but I did mention when I was playing it that this looks more northern, yeah, I was just trusting the fact that we have more Generation 4 down here. Ends up being wrong, and I think maybe this white car might be more of a North Tasmania Gen 4. I'm not really sure how actually that works, but there we go. Getting the right state is not too bad. Next one here, we have some certified, zigzag meta here. Not really my meta at all, but something I put in a video recently. We have this black rock wall, which is volcanic, and combining that with a metal pole, concrete pole here, yellow single line, green number plate, and it's actually like a SsangYong or something like that. So it's a Korean car. This one is too. It's a Hyundai, and this like guardrail, yeah, this guard sticker, yeah, we should be somewhere in Korea, and with the black rock wall somewhere in Jeju Island. Also, this thin post on the top of the roof is also very Korean. So yeah, Jeju Island, black rock walls, volcanic. You can also see similar looking rock walls that aren't volcanic in the south of Korea, but yeah, let's just go here. It's a fairly straightforward round, especially with the language and everything, so yeah, just remember those black rock walls and you got it. Next one here, we are driving left-hand side of the road, blue Google car, that's the hood of the car right there. Double whites in the center, that's definitely significant because we got black number plates here, which would indicate kind of like Malaysia, Singapore, and Indonesia kind of vibe here, but Malaysia's the only one to use double white lines consistently, so yeah, we can definitely assume we're going to be there somewhere. Then what else can we say here? Malaysian flag obviously helps out. The fact that it says Malaysia here obviously helps, but without that, we've got these kind of tiled roofs, very common there. Black sticker for Peninsula, Generation 4 for Peninsula as well. Both of those are only found in Peninsula. Malaysia. This is probably a state flag, which they're very proud about their states in Malaysia, but I don't remember which one it is. Yeah, it's about it. Yeah, also Malaysian bollard here, similar to the Korean style almost. Yeah, that is about it here. Didn't really get too much of a vibe here. It feels kind of coastal-ish with the palms, but it ends up not being coastal at all. So I don't really know. If you know how to exactly region guess this one, tell me. But I think I just kind of guessed like around Malacca, KL kind of area here. Ends up being in the center of the mainland there. So interesting little round there. Yeah, plenty of things to get that it was Malaysia mainland. So that's really all you need to worry about. Next one here, we got long center dashes. You can see these are kind of double the length of most countries in the center of the road here. That is going to be something you find in France and in the UK. Other countries too, but definitely they're the two countries that do the most. Then we have white rear plates here, so we know we're in France because UK would use yellow. So that already cut down our options a lot here of where it can be even. This architecture, which almost feels a bit like Irish or British or something like that, tends to be more North France here, Paris kind of area, Nantes kind of area, that kind of thing. So I kind of just guessed around Le Mans, I think, somewhere in that kind of area here. Anything else to say about this? Some shutters on the windows, very French. This kind of exposed rock on the building, very beautiful, very French. That's how they do it over there. That's about it. Yeah, also French signage there. So that is a pretty gimme round, I would say. And we move forward to the next one here, which is looking to be somewhere in Europe. Again, we got all white road lines here. Very like reddish tint to the road, you could say here, which is interesting. You do see that in certain places around the world more commonly than others. We have Spanish bollards here. So Spanish bollards do have like kind of a little bit of a lip on one side. They're kind of more hollow than other countries, and you can't really see that here. Once you've played the seat, okay, here you do see it. Yeah, you can see the two lips here, which are very, like, I think that's only in Spain. We also have, reddish reflectors here. These are actually yellow, but they kind of look reddish on my monitor. I think they're actually just yellow, because in Spain you should only see yellow in the guardrail. Turning arrows here, long turning arrows, very Spanish. Flat signposts, very Spanish. Kind of, this gave me like, I don't know, yeah, I wasn't really sure, but the red like road is also quite Spanish as well. I think I clicked north here, and I think it was south. Let's see if I remembered correctly. It was just Madrid, that's right. So yeah, I wasn't really sure with the vibe there. Makes sense for it to be in Madrid. If you're not quite sure on Spain and you don't really get a certain vibe, like it doesn't really look north, doesn't really feel like the dry south, just click Madrid. It's actually a pretty decent tactic. Anyway, at 23,000 there is not a bad effort, especially because there were some more difficult rounds. But let's check out how people did here, and click show more a few times here. Definitely got some names up here doing quite well. There we were, we fly past. Actually went better on the second time than the first there, added 200 points, very good. And let's go down here to find someone who is a little bit lower rated. Guys, thank you very much for watching the video. Do give it a like if you're enjoying it so far, and subscribe to the channel if you want to stay up to date with all my escapades on here. And so I would say let's pick someone who's around 17k here. We'll go for Lucy, and we'll go for Roster 111 and check out how they did. So, oh yeah, this is the same two people I think I selected last time, just by chance. But it is good because on this Spain round they both go Mexico. So we had white center lines there. Just not really something you're really going to see in Mexico very often at all. They should be using yellow center lines, just like the rest of the Americas, apart from Chile in Mexico. So that would definitely make sense. Those bollards you can see in Chile as well. So that's the only really country you should be confusing there with Spain. The France was both good guesses, but Belgium, I would say you would see brick architecture much more than that kind of exposed rock architecture. This guess is fine though. Moving on to Korea, we had one correct Jeju, and then one kind of just in central southern Korea. Not a bad guess, but just remember those black rock walls. That's pretty much all we need to say for that one. Malaysia, everyone going in the same area there. So clearly, kind of without any vibes, just going near KL is not a bad idea. And then, can we say anything else? I think that was it for the seed. So let's move on to the next round here, which is on ACW, a community world. Let's see if we get any beautiful locations. First one is beautiful, yeah, remember this. And so, fairly simple Peru. We can work that out because we got double yellow lines, so feeling America's vibe, plus a black and white signpost, which would indicate somewhere in Peru, as that is the only country in South America to use black and white signposts. What else to say here? Very mountainous. Kind of terraced farming, a little bit tropical, but not quite. These bollards are Peruvian bollards, a bit sus looking. This architecture I found really interesting. It doesn't really strike me as typical Peru, but this house in the background that we also saw is quite typical Peruvian. Red brick mixed with like white brick. Yeah, quite typical. Anything else to say here? Poles also quite generic here, I would say. Yeah, so Generation 4, I thought this was kind of between this area and this area here. I opted for this one here. Kind of looks a little bit Machu Picchu-like with the terraced hill here. I don't know, it's a bit of a weak meta for this round probably, but I don't know. That's just what I was thinking here. Anything else to say? Not really. So yeah, that's pretty much it here. Right at the back of the card, which is interesting. I don't really know how much of a meta that is for Peru, but good to keep it in mind. And I think we'll guess here. Also, short plate there. Yeah, not too bad. 3.9k on Peru, we'll take it. Next one here, immediately, like, it is very green for northern Ghana, but we should be guessing north here just because it's so flat. Then also, I know it's Ghana because we've got, like, a square Google car here, if you can see, if you're watching on full screen. That kind of squarish car should mean we have roof racks, and sure enough, here are the roof racks with the black sticker. And, yeah, okay, so we have red kind of dirt in the center here. That definitely makes sense for Ghana as well, kind of Australian-looking dirt. And we have wooden poles with like kind of like these four like wires coming out, very Ghanan, I would say. And yeah, more of north vibes here. Yeah, slight hills, but definitely very flat in comparison to the southern half of the country. I think I clicked Tamale here, but mentioning that and it could have been any of these kind of northern cities. It does get dry right on the border, but anywhere in here can be quiet. Looking like this, basically. Yeah, so let's guess here. It ends up being Inwa instead of Tamale. That was kind of my other thought, but that's okay. And next round here, we are looking at a round, which, believe it or not, guys, this is sorely disappointing. I'm not going to be able to get as close this round as I got when I was just plonking before. So anyway, we've got a massive, let's just break down the round before I tell you exactly what happened. But anyway, guys, we got a massive mountain range here. This is really tall mountains, so probably too tall for Australia, and that's probably the main country you could confuse this with. So not Australia at all. We do have like a very Australian looking fence though, with like wooden posts mixed with like thin metal posts. That's very Australian, also very South African. Yeah, we have eucalyptus trees here, but not to worry, this is not Australia, just South Africa. And the height in the mountains mixed with this kind of flatter landscape here definitely give it away. But the ultimate thing that tells us it's not New Zealand or Australia is that we have a triangle sign here rather than a diamond sign. Diamond yellow sign in Australia and a red and white triangle in South Africa and the Southern African nations. Okay, good. Then with this like really massive mountain range to the north and not much to the south and this agricultural vibe, I was thinking of this kind of area over here, and I actually think I plonked. Now I'm not going to be able to get as close as I got, guys. I literally plonked like this or something and I got 1 kilometer away, so I can't even get as close. I can't even remember exactly where it was compared to my plonk, but yeah, you can definitely see that it lines up here with these massive mountains north. Using that kind of like what would you say, that kind of elevation on the map is really beneficial. Okay, so let's just go for that here. Definitely a baity round, but this soil color is not really Australian. You can see it in certain places, but I just don't really think it would fit. It would have to be very certain places, whereas it's quite a common soil color for South Africa. So let's just hit it here. I'm not going to be as close. Okay, I actually was 5.5 kilometers away, but yeah, you can see, well, I'm actually not on the leaderboard there, but I actually got 1.3 kilometers away, and Debray also got it, but he lined up the road. I actually just plonked it, so yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, next one here, we are going to be somewhere in Thailand, and this is an interesting round because we've got a cool meta here. So let's first off work out while we're in Thailand. Left-hand drive, yellow inside lines, and this kind of guard on a square concrete pole is very Thai. Not to mention the language. Okay, now that we worked out that's Thailand. Also, this pole top is very Thai as well. Now that we worked out it's Thailand, though, we'll look at this pole, which is the closest here. This one, right here. Okay, great. So this is one of those hand grenade looking insulators that they have on Thai poles, and basically you can actually use this to region guess. So it has 8 ridges here. If it had 6 ridges, you could basically say it's in most of the country, but 8 ridges can be found in this southern region of the country and also in Chiang Rai. Couldn't tell you why exactly that is, but it's a consistent meta. And so I think I just guessed in like Songkhla, and yeah, just the southern vibe. Doesn't really make sense for all the way north here because of all the palms. Palms are more common in the south of the country than in the north. And yeah, that's it. That's literally it. So yeah, we can just guess here and see if we got close. And indeed, the south meta does work. It's actually a bit further north than I remembered it being at the time. But yeah, it is southern there, so that would definitely be a good guess. Next one here, immediately got Baltic vibes. We do have like kind of grass fields mixed with quite a lot of like pine-ish trees here. Dirt road with like grass growing in the middle. Very, very Baltic. I would say when you see the grass growing in the middle, that's most likely to be somewhere in Estonia. But yeah, you do see that in other countries as well. Do we have a bit of a green blur here? Now that I'm playing this round for the second time, I do think there is a bit of a green blur, which is definitely something you see in Estonia and not the other Baltics. Yeah, you can see the green blur here, like between the leaves. It's real, it's real. This was definitely open and not as forested as a typical Estonia round, but I definitely liked it. And I opted for the South Island of Estonia here. I don't know, just gave me island vibes. Didn't quite feel like the normal mainland stuff you get. Not to mention that this kind of like kind of sandier soil. I don't know. Is it actually sandier here? Perhaps not, but you do get sandier soil there, and something about the soil here reminded me a bit more of there, but I'm not really a really good Estonia guesser. Anyway, let's guess here, and it was indeed there. Short antenna. So with the short antenna, you can never go North America there. It just doesn't make sense. So yeah, that makes sense for Europe, and then Baltics with the whitish soil. Not to mention all the kind of like grass in the center of the road and the general vibes of the round and the green blur. So there we go. That was a pretty successful seed. We'll see how people did here. This is actually a Debray W on account of this guess where he got. He was actually further away from me. I actually plonked closer by chance. I don't have any chip on my shoulder. Deborah played this one fantastically. Really good Thai guess there, and everything else nicely. But that's not what we're here to see. Well, I actually got better on my main account there. But let's go ahead and check out the people who played a little bit worse here and see kind of those people in the kind of high 10,000 ranking here. So this time I will select, we won't go roster again. This time we'll go ICP and Patura here and see how they've played here. 16k apiece. Let's see what happened. So we actually had one correct South Africa guess here and one in Tasmania. Now last time I filmed this, we had two guys going in New Zealand. So interestingly spread guesses here. Tasmania is somewhat reasonable, but you would probably have mountains on both sides of you, whereas that was kind of like one big mountain range and then nothing. Also the mountains to the north, like the bigger mountains are normally found to the south here, so yeah, just kind of line up your guess, especially if you have a distinct mountain range like that. Lining up your guess can be good. This guess is not bad, but it's more tropical up there. This is more of a temperate, kind of Australian-looking climate that you'd find in the Capes, and the mountains are bigger here than they are up here. Although you can find big mountains, they're bigger down here. Okay, as for the Ghana, we had one good Tamale hedge. The southern guess, yeah, makes less sense. It's more tropical down there. It's more green, even though that run we had up here was pretty green. It's more green down there, and yeah, generally speaking, just looks a bit different. The Perus were both good. Good middle hedging here. I think that kind of older architecture made sense for Near Lima, but apart from that, I mean, definitely a difficult round. But this is the right region to click, so well done to both of them. As for the Baltics, we had a good Estonia guess there. Hungary making less sense there. I think that kind of dirt road coverage, much more common in the Baltics than the grass growing in the middle. I don't think you'd ever see that in Hungary, to be honest. I could be proven wrong, but yeah. And then Hungary, I don't know, just doesn't really have such forests. So yeah, kind of a vibes round, of course, but yeah, I don't think Hungary makes as much sense there. Also, winter coverage in Generation 3 is most common in Hungary, in fact, basically always. And then Thailand guesses were good. Just keep in mind that tip about the number of coils on the hand grenade insulator there, and you'll be golden. I think we are about done. Actually, this video took exactly the same amount of time as the last version, which was also 7 minutes. Special like if you enjoyed it, guys. Hopefully my explanations were good, and I'll see you guys in a video very soon. Till next time, guys, and goodbye.